Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster doing part 3 of What If Asta Was Trained by Zoro. So yeah, this, if it's scheduled correctly, it will be uploading on Thanksgiving, part of the Thanksgiving special. And with that taken care of, hit it. Now then, when we last left off, Asta just finished up the baptism and everything, and got his robe and broom. So we get to where Asta wakes up, finding a pillar in front of his door. As Magna explains that the base moves around and gives him the full tour. So the magic beasts don't really give him much attitude as in this one, since they sense that he is very dangerous upon instinct and all that. Though the interaction with Noelle does go pretty similar to as in canon, with her trying to fire at Asta but hitting Magna, with Asta not even flinching a bit. So, yeah, we get to the point where Asta is doing some chores and such and finishes them rather quickly. So he goes walks around. As he's doing that, he does find Noelle, who's practicing, who then she does notice Asta, and fearing of being ridiculed by not being able to control her magic, begins to charge up her magic to the point it gets out of control. Asta's able to get away from this mess using skywalk or moonwalk, whatever you want to call it, but he uses it to get away from the rampage in Mana, which is where he meets up with the Black Bulls, who are just looking at this trying to figure out what to do. As he gets there, Yami asked him if he can do something about that. Asta states, yeah, probably. So we see him jump up using a skywalk in order to get up to the spear using the demon Slayer sword to cut it in half, dispelling it. In this one, he does catch Noelle and gets them down to the ground safely, as he's waiting to just be paraded with insults and such. We hear Asta state that she's incredible for having so much magic, as he scratched the back of his head for not having any. Though this is still pretty far fetched for like Yami and such to believe, which they don't understand. But Noelle is given the same pep talk from the other Black Bulls and such, and gets her robe back. Though Magna does state, asking, okay, so if you don't have magic, how'd you do that to get up there? Asta just kind of scratched his head, stating, well, I pushed off hard enough with my feet to push off of air, I guess would be the most best way to describe it. With him saying, huh? How does that make sense? But no. As we get to the next part where Asta's eating and is getting a rundown about how the magic nights work, as Yami and Magna do leave as they do in canon. Like in canon, they still get beat in poker by the chief of Saucy Village quite badly. As Asta's having an easier time feeding the magic beasts Yami keeps, only to meet Yami and Magna coming back in their birthday suits, which Noelle is just freaking out about. As we switch over to the part where Yami tells them they're missing it is boar hunting. Asta is okay with that since it gets him to actually do something as a magic knight, and plus for hunting down some boars and getting some boar meat sounds like sounds good to him. Though unlike as in canon, Asta can use moonwalk to keep up with Magna's crazy cyclone, which Noelle has to still ride on, and she is by far not happy at all. Though once they get there, Asta takes out one of his swords from his hip and the demon Slayer's sword to go and just slaughter the boars one after another as they come, using his optical hockey to track them down and cut them up. So, yeah, piling up the boars, Asta sensed something using optical hockey. A lot of hostility coming from the area of the village. When he tells Magna this, he's not sure if he's being serious or not, but doesn't want to take the chance. So they hurry up and get to Sashi Village, which is currently being engulfed in some kind of fog. Asta using his demon slayer sword cuts through the fog as it tries to envelop them, getting to the town square where we see an injured version of the chief of Sashi Village, not dying like in canon, as he's about to be skewered by a ice spike. Asta blitzes in using his sword, one of his swords, to cut it down, which the chief is relieved that the Black Bulls got here in time. As Asta wields his swords ready, he just begins to see that the mist around them is starting to turn into ice shards as Magna charges up his fireball gather shot to destroy plenty of them. As for Asta, coating his blades in hockey, uses them with the air slash to destroy plenty of them, primarily focusing on protecting the villagers, knowing that Magna can't handle this many ice swords all at once. But, like in canon, Noelle is able to learn the Sea Dragon's Lair spell to defend the villagers, giving Asta time and an opening to blitz the mages. As he goes to attack what should be the leader of the mages, he then quickly slashes his sword to the side, attacking the real mage, yelling out, "You think I'd fall for something like that?" As his other sword just pierces the ice clone's head, shattering it. The mage was able to dodge, but was quick, but was quickly met with Asta right up in his face, being hit with the demon slayer's sword flat of the blade, smacking him down. So next they had to deal with his little lackeys as they tried to jump Asta. quickly smacks them in the gut, either with the demon slayer sword, which blade is dull, or the flat of the katana blade that one of them that he carries at his side. Magna comes out of the demon's nest to use his fire magic to bind them. Unfortunately, one of them is able to get away. As for the rest, pretty much same as in canon, where they prop them up against the wall, and the leader tells them that they're not going to get anything from them. Then basically, ice magic suicide pact kind of thing. Obviously, this doesn't sit well with them, especially knowing that they must have vowed some really serious loyalty for whoever they were working for. As we get to the point where they meet with the Chipasashi village, bandaged up but alive, and he thanks them for saving them and for also doing a good job taking care of those boars. Magna tells them it's no problem, though Asta is swiftly met with Nero pecking them in the head. But Asta is able to grab the magic stone from Nero's mouth quite easily this time, as the chief's grandson states that that's his grandfather's lucky charm. Well, good luck charm and such. But the chief laughs, stating that they can take it as payment for saving them from those uh, villains, since they also took care of the boars and this. Asta wasn't gonna say no, and went ahead and took it. As they get back there and are notified that they received a gold star, though they're in the negative 30s whenever it comes to how many stars they need to catch up with. So, yeah. Next, we head over to Yuno, actually, who was also trained by Zoro in this one. And yes, he's still escorting that noble prick like in canon. As they fly for the sky and such, ahead of time, Yuno can sense that there's an incoming attack. When it comes to hockey, is actually better at optical hockey than Asta, but Asta is stronger with armament. So he can tell that there's people coming to attack him, as he uses his magic to summon his blades, confusing his companions as he fires out some air slashes directly to where the enemy mages are. They are able to dodge it and blitz right towards Yuno, surprising Mimosa and Klaus. As the fight continues, they fight a total of 4 mages, but is able to control his slashes to cut 2 of their brooms in half, causing the other 2 to grab their little friends and bail. The noble, like in canon, does request that they go to Yuno's village in order to stay there for a time. So when they do, they're met with uh, the priest and sister and such. So this time they're also met with Zoro, who states, "Huh? What? Did you miss home that much that you just had to come back here already?" With, states, "No, master. the client for the job I'm working with for the Magic Knights wanted to stop by here. As he looks at the nobles and scoffs. Really? That runt? But Klaus remarks that you should be more respectful to a noble commoner. As when he goes to look at Zoro, he's done disappeared, only to find Zoro has his sword next to Klaus's neck, standing behind him, stating, I'm only telling the truth. Those who cannot fend for themselves have no right to be wearing those robes if you hold them in such high regard as the protectors of this kingdom, wouldn't you say? Klaus is visibly nervous at this, wondering how this guy got behind him so fast, and why can't I sense his magic? Does he even have any? Or is he like that other, or is he like that individual from the Magic Knight exams I heard about, but who doesn't have any? So Zoro sheathed his sword, stating, don't cross me or the people living here, and we should be good. As he walks into the church, drinking some alcohol out of a gourd, with Klaus yelling, was that a threat? States, no, Master doesn't threaten, he just makes promises. With Klaus yelling, that's not any better. As they do eat like in canon, and the sister, well, the noble offers to go get some water from the well, but the sister goes instead with the noble giving him her, well, him his cloak and such. So this time Yuno and Zoro can sense that somebody with hostile intention is coming. Zoro got up first, telling them to continue eating, he's just going to get some fresh air. The noble thought that this would end even better if they can get two hostages. Unfortunately, they got the crap kicked out of them by Zoro before they were able to grab the sister. They took out three of them, leaving one left, which then Mimosa used her plant magic to get them to tell the truth about who hired them, and then using it on the noble, getting him to tell the truth about why this mission was done to begin with. Though when they went go look for the fourth individual, he was already gone. As we see the individual on top of the demon skull, it's revealed that it's the Wizard King dispelling of the disguise he used while having the real bandit tied up behind him, stating, well, that actually went much better than I thought it would. That individual, he must be the one that was that trained the Yuno and Asta, was it? Hmm. Without having any magic, he was able to sense the danger of the incoming mages going after the nun, and whose physical abilities can reach blinding speeds. Hmm. He seems very interesting. I would love to see what he could really do. Though Zoro doesn't sense any hostility coming from anywhere around here, though sensing two people on top of the skull, just decides to leave it, and gestures at Yuno to leave it as well. So he decided to go ahead. As they go and head back to their squad's hideout to give their report. The noble kid in question and his family did get busted for having shady dealings, such. So there is that. Wizard King got more info about capabilities of being a four-leaf clover grimoire holder, plus the man known as Zoro, who wields a similar sword to Yami's without magic, but is still insanely powerful from what he can tell. Though once Mimosa and Klaus got there, Klaus asked him what's with that old man that stuck a sword to my neck. States, that's my master. He taught me and Asta how to wield swords in a similar way he does. I didn't get the whole physical part as good as Asta did, but century wise, I'd say I'm better than Asta. When he asked who's Asta, he remarks that it's the magic knight that joined the Black Bulls who can use, well, anti-magic. Klaus is confused by this, wondering why a commoner has something like that. Though seeing the hurt old man that taught them, he's worried about he is somewhat worried, nervous, and also, well, curious about who exactly this Ozla guy is and what he could really do. But he'll leave it for now. As we get to the point where the Black Bulls, Ozla, Noel, and Vanessa, all the Black Bulls get paid, and those three end up going to the black market. As they go through everything, seeing everything that they have there, also doesn't really find anything that piques his interest except for a whetstone, which is used to sharpen katana blade. And what he could find is a sword cleaning kit as well. Buying that after getting so used to his master telling him that cleaning and maintaining his sword is so important. So he has to make sure to maintain the swords that his master kept in his care. So, yeah. Though the Cloud Bandit still grabs the old lady's giant bag of money, with after Seke is completely mortified seeing Asta with Noelle and Vanessa. Though this part ends pretty quickly with Asta blitzing using Shade to get in front of the bandit and using the Demon Slayer sword to destroy his cloud. When the bandit tried to use his knife to stab Asta, it's quickly kicked out of his hand, leading to Asta pointing a katana at his throat, telling him that he really shouldn't resist. As he's captured, Seke offers to take him in. Asta didn't really care, so he let Seke go ahead, driving off as the money is given back to the old woman, later going to be the Wizard King, as the Black Bulls left to go back to the hideout, with Noelle having a new wand to help focus her magic. With the Wizard King looking down, stating, huh, he might be more like his, that, his master Zoro than the other student Hmm. But also the ability to destroy magic, anti-magic. Hmm. These two are far more interesting than I could have imagined. I'm still curious about what exactly is that other sword, and why is the sword he drew black like that? The Wizard King is getting pretty interested and excited to figure out what's up with them, and would love to see what Zoro could really do. Though that excitement is short lived, given that Marx is now yelling at the Wizard King through some kind of magic mirror thing, telling him to get back to work. Which the Wizard King just sighed at, saying, Mark, come on. Though he still ends up going back to work. As some time passes, we get to the point where Yami fills in the Black Bulls that the Wizard King wanted Asta Noel to go over to the dungeon to clear it, sending Luck with them. So once they get there, Luck still is able to find the door to let them in. Though this time when Luck goes to activate the trap spells, they're quickly dispelled by Asta before they could fully activate. With Luck asking, how did you do that? Asta just remarks, it's like, it's like I can sense danger before it happens, in a sense. Or, you know, I can tell when something's about to cause harm, which Luck finds interesting as he just starts activating more traps with Asta destroying them before they're a problem. Though Luck still causes trouble by going off to fight some more to fight the mages he sent. Though he though after leaving, Austin and Noel just keep going. Noel still gets snagged, or at least attemptedly snagged by the plant magic trap, but Asta took care of it quickly, which is when Klaus and Mimosa show up. Quick introductions are made, as Klaus looks at Asta seeing the sword he's resting on his shoulders, thinking, so, is that the anti-magic weapon? Hmm. Given his stature, he doesn't seem much. Though if he's anything like that Zoro person, he probably isn't someone to be trifled with, even if I can't sense magic coming off of him. As Asta states that he congratulates Yuno for getting a gold star, as they also got a gold star from their first mission too. As Klaus questions this, because they are the Black Bulls, so ending up with the same fight as in King. So they separate, as Asta takes a moment to try to sense where everybody is. Other than the Golden Dawn and Luck, he senses a couple of other people too. Going straight for Luck, telling Noel that Luck might be in trouble if we just leave him as he is. Confusing Noel, but still following. As they see Luck found in smoke, it's quickly cut, freeing Luck from it. As the smoke mage doesn't really want to fight them head on, he surrounds them in his magic, trying to keep his position hidden. Unfortunately, Asta can still sense him, allowing him to use his skywalk to blitz right towards the smoke mage, slamming him with the anti-magic sword, confusing him and the Noel and Luck about how did he know that. Though the Cloud Maids did get away, using along with his lackeys using the little smoke car. Luck asked, "How did you know where he was? I couldn't even sense him." Asta just replied with, "I just sensed his presence," with Luck mentioning that that sounds a lot like what Yami can do. He calls it ki. Asta looks at him, remarking, "Well, sounds close. What I learned is hockey," which Luck isn't sure what exactly the difference is. So, but if it sounds similar, then it probably is, at least in Luck's head. As for the Golden Dawn, Yuno is able to sense Mars coming and warns the Golden Dawn about him. Although Mars had to work for it a little bit more, they did end up putting the Golden Dawn on the defensive. Yuno relies heavily, or relies a good bit, on his wind magic to support his air slashes from his wind magic swords. Since he didn't since he's better at the sensory part than the more physical part, including armament. Though even somebody with a frail body could have strong armament hockey. He is getting better, but his strength in attack is not at the point it could be to really take out Mars, but is able to make it a bit more of an even fight, which is when Asta comes in, destroying Mars's magic as he tries to use a double sword, the a double giant mineral sword attack on Yuno, getting it sliced clean in half. As the fight continues, Asa uses his skywalk to bounce around in midair, destroying Mars's magic and getting close for a good number of hits. Not wanting to kill Mars, he just uses the Demon Slayer sword, smacking him right down into the water. As he goes to sea, he's met with a giant mineral boulder he cuts in half. Though, unlike in canon, Asa is able to tell what's coming next and slices both of the sides of the crystals that are shooting out at him, destroying them with his blades. As he sees the sword back and asks if the Golden Dawn's okay, Klaus is just frustrated that they had to be saved by the Black Bulls. But he gets over it as now they have to deal with the unconscious Mars, who was defeated by the sheer shockwave from the double slash that sent him flying into the wall. He's locked up tight, at least for the time being. As Luck mentions that Asa can get them in there, he uses the Demon Slayer sword to cut them in, with Yuno finding the scroll for the wind spirit magic as Asta goes being led by Nero to that little circle thing in the wall. He thinks that this bird is weird, but it seems to bring him odd stuff, but who knows? As he just breaks down the wall, seeing the demon dweller sword, taking it, remarking that it looks similar to his other anti magic sword, smirking at this. though he senses a wave of hostility. Running out of the hole where everybody is caught in crystals, Noelle is hit, but luckily Yuno was able to sense the attack and avoid being captured by Mars's crystals. As Mars is in his mineral golem bell, being surrounded by flames from the Phoenix's healing robe. With Noelle down, Mimosa healing her. Well, yeah, with with Noelle down, the Mimosa healing her. Asta is pissed and asked if he could finish this, asking if he could make sure that none of the attacks from this guy will hit Noelle and Mimosa, or Klaus and Luck. Can see that Asta's mad and says, Alright, go for it. So he makes his sword, which he uses to deflect some mineral blade shots, as Asta takes out the cursed sword his master gave him into his mouth while holding the demon dweller and slayer swords in his hands. With Klaus thinking, the hell? Why is he holding that in his mouth? As Marbs begins his attack, firing out a lot more blades than in canon. Asta's able to destroy them one after another, even with the blade in his mouth, firing over and over again. He notices that they need to be careful at the lowest level, and he didn't want to go all out, considering his last attack shocked the whole room they were in. Though Mars was increasing the speed of the attacks and number of shots even more, as Asta used a Tatsumaki, basically a tornado dragon attack that Zoro used, to create a strong whirlwind shaped like a black dragon around him to block off the attacks coming at him. He only did it like this in order to give him an opportunity to try something his master taught him, thinking that it would be a good chance to try it out. As the area around him begins to turn dark, Asta begins to change a bit. It's as if his arms and heads are multiplying along with the swords they're holding. As Haki envelops the swords and his body, as he states, Dark Asura mode. And with this mode, he fires off 9 slashes, destroying the mineral attacks and breaking the limbs off of the mineral golem. As he goes in for Mars, he strikes at him, knocking him out again, releasing the Asura mode. As now, because he got pissed, the whole place is coming down. As he goes over to try to see if Noelle's okay, Mars tries for another attack. Although Asta was going for his sword to destroy this one, magic reacted, causing the wind spirit bell to appear, allowing him to destroy it with a powerful gust of wind, which is not helping the stability of the dungeon. So makes his wind arc and flies them out of there, with Asta using his sword slashes to destroy a good bit of rubble as Luck guides them out and Klaus helps destroy rubble coming at them. After getting out of there, Klaus hugs Yuno and Asta, telling them that he was wrong for judging them for being commoners. Though does ask what exactly was that form he took, looking at Asta. Asta scratched his head, stating it was something my master could do. As Klaus then asked, what exactly did your master teach you? And why were you holding a sword in your mouth? Asta stated that, oh, master taught me his sword style, three sword style. And the form I took was Asura, was the Asura form. Where, well, to make a long story short, it's like you make a physical copy of your body parts and weapons through intense concentration and willpower. At least that's how he described it, and kind of how it felt. Klaus is shocked by this, though is not going to question it, since it's been a long day. As we see, the Diamond Kingdom mages did get out, as well, with a lot of treasure and Mars. Though, for now, this is where we'll be ending this, as the Black Bulls and Golden Dawn left for their hideouts to give a report. So, this was part 3 of What If Asta Was Trained by Zoro. Hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to hit that notification bell so that you're notified for the next video. So, hope you enjoyed, and see you later. Happy Thanksgiving!